Optimizing nutrition in preterm infants. Growth velocities during the NICU hospitalization period for preterm infants are said to exert a significant and possibly independent effect on neurodevelopmental and anthropometric outcomes. Failure to provide the necessary amounts of all the essential nutrients can produce risk of onset of growth failure, increased vulnerability to infectious diseases, increased respiratory distress from underdeveloped lung, impaired tissue repair in response to injuries, and general underdevelopment of organs such as intestine, skeletal muscle, and brain. Preterm growth can be supported by adequate nutrition and includes 3 important stages and strategies. Early aggressive nutrition, fortified human milk or preterm formula, and post-discharge nutrition. For initial feeding, method can be decided in low birth weight infants according to their gestational age, while the ones less than 28 weeks depend on IV. Over 28 weeks, gastric feeding may be possible, and over 32 weeks, the baby may be able to take with a spoon, and over 34 weeks, he or she may be breastfed. Early aggressive nutrition involves initiating early parenteral and enteral nutrition, which include minimal enteral feedings, amino acid infusion, lipid emulsion. Enteral feeding should begin with trophic amounts and IV should be decreased accordingly. Trophic feeding promotes intestinal maturation, enhances feeding tolerance, and reduces the time to reach full feeds. It is recommended that each neonatal unit develops and uses guidelines for the initiation and standardized advancement of early feedings. For instance, energy intake of 50 kilocalories per kilogram per day is sufficient but does not meet additional requirements of growth. Required or recommended energy intake is 100 to 120 kilocalories per kilogram per day and higher in infants with chronic lung disease. Apart from energy, all the other nutrients and fluid intake need to be monitored and increased as per the requirement to reduce the losses during administration. Next is the question of frequency of feeds. When it comes to feeding an infant less than or equal to 1250 grams, both 2 hourly and 3 hourly feeds are acceptable. While comparing the effectiveness of slow versus rapid advancement of feeds in preterm infants, it has been seen that slow feeding delays the time to reach full feeds by 1 to 5 days and increases the risk of invasive infections. Formula infants on rapid advancement regimens can reach 1500 grams weight, primary outcome, and regain birth weight more rapidly. As the infant grows and starts accepting enteral feeds, breast milk is the best choice because of its associated benefits like improvement in host defense benefits, better neurodevelopmental outcomes, and gastrointestinal functions like rapid gastric emptying and improved lactase activity. But the biggest challenge is that unfortified human milk may not meet the nutritional requirements of most preterm infants. Preterm human milk differs in its nutritional composition than term milk, due to which it may be difficult to meet the high requirements of the preterm infants. Protein levels, which are initially high in the preterm milk, decrease over the first few weeks to reach an average of 1.2 grams per 100 milliliter, which does not meet the age-specific nutrient requirements of preterm infants. Similarly, energy estimates range from 70 to 78 kilocalories per 100 milliliter, which are considered insufficient to meet the requirements of preterm infants. This is the case with micronutrients as well. For instance, the iron status of preterm infants who receive non-fortified breast milk begins to deteriorate within 1 to 4 months. When mother's milk is not available or insufficient, pasteurized donor human milk or PDHM may be a good option, but is associated with several challenges in terms of its continuous availability, nutritional delivery, and safety. Feed intolerance is another major issue that may pose a challenge in feeding the preterm infant. This can be addressed by monitoring volume and osmolality of the prepared feed. Thus, issues related to gut immaturity should be managed conservatively until gut attains full maturity. Fortification is therefore an effective strategy to optimize nutrition and tolerability in preterm infants due to its role in better tolerability, improved weight gain, growth, nutrient status, and bone mineralization. Before choosing a fortifier for preterm infants, the following questions must be raised. Are protein and energy needs met at volumes prescribed? Is it supplemented completely with vitamins to meet recommended dietary intakes? Is it supplemented with iron and other micronutrients? Does protein content meet the requirements of preterm infants? Does the high-quality protein have high digestibility and tolerability? The osmolality of fortified human milk is another important factor to be considered. Fortification will slightly increase the osmolality of human milk. A study by Agarwal et al. Suggested that addition of 4 grams HMF per 100 milliliters of milk increased the osmolality of human milk from 302 milliosmol per kilogram to 392 milliosmol per kilogram per 100 milliliters. Thus, it is imperative to focus on the osmolality of prepared feed while choosing an HMF. The journey for specialized nutrition does not end at the hospital. Preterm infants are at a risk of growth failure during post-discharge period as well. Thus, it is important to exercise necessary preventive strategies to cater the nutritional needs of preterm infant. Infants with an appropriate weight for post-conceptional age should be breastfed. When formula-fed, such infants may be given standard infant formula with provision of LCPUFA. Infants discharged with a subnormal weight for post-conceptional age, if fed human milk, should be supplemented with a human milk fortifier. If such infants are formula-fed, they should receive a special post-discharge formula at least until a post-conceptional age of 40 weeks and possibly until 52 weeks. Despite the obvious need for optimal nutrition, growth failure is almost universal among preterm infants. There is every reason, therefore, to optimize nutrition of the preterm infant by giving timely nutrition in adequate amounts in best form.